Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Because the other lawyer sent him a copy of the file petition.
Krishna.
So you have to file the petition and then you have to serve it.
Hare
Just because somebody knows about it doesn't mean you pay.
Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya
Gauranitai,
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 Jaya
Jaya
Gauranitai.
Gauranitai.
Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya.
Jaya
Jaya
Gauranitai, Jaya
Gauranitai,
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 Jaya
Jaya
Gauranitai.
Gauranitai.
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya.
Jaya
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 Prabhupada,
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 Jaya
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 Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitai Gauranga Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Jai Gauranga Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura.
Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Jai Nitai Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Hari Bol.
So start chanting one round.
My humble request to everybody, if you have some background noise, please mute yourself. So we would like to allow most of this to chant. So if someone has a background noise, please mute yourself.
Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Rama Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare,
कॉन्टू में किससे बातें करी थी अपनी
Ram
फ्रेंड से?
Ram,
किससे बात
Ram
की?
Hare
क्या बोल रही है अपनी फ्रेंड को?
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram
Hare Krishna
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna everyone, Dandavat Pranam. Today we are in chapter 16th. 2 more chapters to go, then we'll complete Bhagavad Gita.
Right.
Yeah.
So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Dena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamadhyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Turubhischa Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhya Namo Namaha.
Namo Namaha.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshanyavadine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita Tharuk Ki Jai.
Jai.
Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol.
Just 1 minute. I've got some other sounds coming from my end, so I'm going to close the door. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Namo Krishna Goswami. So this is chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita. And in chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita, we see the contradictions of this world. And because we see the contradictions of this world, we actually sometimes become a little confused. And we think in ways that are not very helpful to us. So particularly this, I was giving the example of dog, it reminds chapter 16 is like Krishna is trying to hunt the dog here that actually is an issue in our lives, So basically the dog, as we know, is considered man's best friend. But at the same time, it has a reputation for very brutal and unprovoked acts like that. So this contradictory behavior is the sign of our times. And in previous ages, what used to happen was that, say, for example, in Satya Yuga, the demons and the demoniac and the divine people lived in different countries, just completely different countries. So they wouldn't mix so much. And then in when it came to Treta Yuga, because this time Treta Yuga came before Dwapara, but normally Dwapara comes before Treta. So in the second Yuga, what happens is they live in the same country, but in different parts of the country. And then comes the third Yuga. In this case, it is Dwapara Yuga that came third. So in Dwapara Yuga, they live in the same city, but in different houses. And then comes Kali Yuga. Now they live in the same person. The demoniac and divine qualities live in the same person. So obviously, this is a very difficult time. Kali Yuga is a very, very difficult time. So Krishna is describing in this, in chapter 6, that the qualities of saintly persons are actually what helps us actually rise in our consciousness, and the weaknesses of the demoniac, what they do is they systematically expose attitudes and behaviors that destroy spirituality, one's spirituality. So in chapter 6, Krishna starts, chapter 16, Krishna starts with a very nice statement right off the bat. He says, again, I'll get my phone, just 1 minute. was running out of charge, so I was charging it. Okay, here it is. So, chapter 16, Krishna is speaking. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness. Okay, come into the right position. Fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness. Covetousness means we want what others have, like that. Gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with a divine nature. So here Krishna is giving 26 qualities that divine persons have. And we should know these qualities, because what it does is that although we may not have these qualities, we aspire for these qualities. Remember earlier on what we said, start thinking in those lines, start saying to ourselves, to any one of us, we should say, I should have these 26 qualities. Look at those 26 qualities, print them down, write them out in your own handwriting, speak them in your own words, and they will come to you because they're natural. They're natural to the soul. So they will come to us. And then we will have these divine qualities. And why this is very important, as we'll see in chapter 16, is otherwise, if we have demoniac qualities, then it'll pull us down into lifestyles that are worse and worse and worse, get, bad to worst, like that, and such that we may even end up in hell. And there it's very, very tough, very difficult situation in hell, like that. And, it's almost like it'll just drag us there to hell. And remember, this is planet Earth. Planet Earth is the last bus stop before the hellish bus stops start. So coming down from heaven, heavenly bus stops, this is the last one. We need to get off the bus here. We can't stay on that bus. If we stay on that bus is headed to hell. And we're going there with it. And this is why there's so many difficulties in this world, because that's what's happening with the general populace. So it's very important that we know these qualities and that we aspire for them. We pray to Krishna, please allow me to have these qualities. Pray to Guru and Krishna like that, to anybody, pray to anybody like that. This is the type of qualities we want. So in these first 6 verses, the tree of the material world is being described, and the divine qualities actually elevate us on that tree, and demoniac qualities result in degradation. So these are the results of nature and nurturing, like that. So although we carry, from the past impressions which actually affect our lives, it is actually described that our willpower, our determination, and the activities that we perform, these 3 things, our willpower, our determination, and the activities that we perform in this life will significantly alter the nature and the nurturing in such a way that we can now go towards Krishna, like that. So that's the idea. Then the very next verse, Krishna actually gives the demoniac qualities. And now he describes, he says, pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. The transcendental qualities, he says, this is next text in the first section, second last text of the first section. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. So we can see what the transcendental qualities will do is that it will help us towards liberation. And the demonic qualities will make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with divine qualities. So he could see Arjuna became very worried. Oh my God, do I have demonic qualities? Is this my destination? Am I also, going to end up in a very bad situation in my life like that? And then the last verse of the first section, Krishna actually says, O son of Pritha, in this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now, please hear from me the demoniac, because in the divine qualities earlier, in the previous chapters also, Krishna described many wonderful divine qualities of a devotee. But now he wants to stress the demoniac one, so that it's very clear what these demoniac qualities are and what actually, so that we can actually distinguish easily. Now, some people will complain that by doing this, Krishna is being judgmental, he is criticizing. No, he wants to point out the fact, because remember, the demoniac and the divine and demonic qualities are in all of us. Not like some people are totally demon and some people are totally divine. A little bit of divine is there in those who are very demoniac, and a little bit of demoniac is there who are very divine, and everybody is somewhere in the middle. But we have to guard against these qualities. So in this next set of 14 verses, Krishna gives the opinions and outlooks of the demon. And so to reassure Arjuna of his divine nature, Krishna distinguishes the activities, the mentality and the qualities of those who are demoniac. Such persons, he says, are cast into repeated birth and death and into undeveloped lower species of life. So while this may sound like harsh and judgmental, like I said earlier, and that this is Krishna is being like a judgmental god of some type of dogmatic religion, Krishna is explaining how this treatment is the most progressive course of action to gradually uplift these individuals, those same individuals. We remember they're also Krishna's children. He wants to gradually uplift them too. He wants them to read the Bhagavad Gita and figure this out too for themselves. Demoniac philosophy, mentality, and activities generate a lot of anxiety for the individual and causes great disruption in the wider society. That's why it's not good. It's not good for the person and it's not good for society. So it is a case of, hate the disease, not the diseased. I mean, hate the sinner, not the sin. That's what Krishna is doing. So I'm going to read this because then we can clearly see how we are behaving and whether any of these might affect our behavior, and we don't want to be like this. So Krishna says, those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. There's one quality of the demoniac. I can tell this was demoniac. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. Obviously, I don't think any of us fall in that category. But there are times when you do not know what to do and not to do. That is part of a demoniac quality, by the way, just so you know. So then he says, they say that this world is unreal. This is how demoniac people speak. This world is unreal. No foundation, no God. There's no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So one should be very lusty. Lusty for everything. Anything that you can think of, you lust after it. Like that. Next text. Following such conclusion, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, by the way, they have no intelligence. They look like they're very intelligent, but they really have no intelligence. Engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. This is their behavior. And then in the next text, Krishna says, taking shelter of insatiable lust, means, always more and more lusty, and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige. And we can see so much of that around the world. The demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent, very attracted by the illusory and very temporary benefits like that. Next verse. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of their life, their anxiety is immeasurable, because no matter how much you verify the senses, they're like snakes. They're only becoming more powerful and need even more gratification now. Like you're trying to put a fire out, but you throw fuel on it, it's going to become bigger fire. It's not going to get smaller. Bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. And we can see that in this world. So much of that is happening. And then in the next 3 verses, Krishna says, the demonic person thinks, and this is the mentality, okay? You can tell who is demonic. This is how a demonic person speaks. So much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future. More and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. There you go. Even they perform sacrifices. I shall give charity. Okay? And thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. So Krishna is making it very clear, this is not supposed to be our mentality. Next verse it says, self-complacent and always impudent. Impudent means, they're always very nasty. Deluded by wealth and false prestige. They sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in nature only, without following any rules or regulations. You might notice when I do fire sacrifices, I tell people this is being performed according to scripture. This is not just anyhow, just do it to show people. I'm clean, I did it this way, I know the mantras. This is all bogus. I have to do it properly according to scripture. False ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. The demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Like that. And then, in the next verse, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest amongst men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life, because there are lots of species that are very demoniac. Then he says in the final verse of this section, attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down into the most abominable type of existence. So this is something we don't want in our lives like that. This is why Bhagavad Gita is very important. Understanding Bhagavad Gita properly is very important. A lot of people will read Bhagavad Gita and they think, I already know Bhagavad Gita. I give classes on Bhagavad Gita. You can give classes on Bhagavad Gita, but you cannot understand Bhagavad Gita unless Krishna allows you to understand. That he already said earlier. It is by his energy that we're able to understand the concepts of Bhagavad Gita, the precepts, the instructions, the mood of Bhagavad Gita. And then we can become nice devotees, humble devotees who are very big-hearted, audarya, and very affectionate towards all living entity. Prema, like that, particularly having prema of God. If you have love of God, then you have love of total creation, because the total creation is inside God. Like that. So then comes the next sections, which are the next actually 4 verses. And in these 4 verses, Krishna is talking about the gates of hell. So Krishna warns that 3 things: lust, anger, and greed. Lust, anger, and greed. How you can remember that is remember gal, G-A-L, gal. People like to have gal pals. Boys like to have gal pals, G-A-L. That's greed, anger, lust. But the other way around, lust, anger, greed. Like that. Are the 3 root qualities that lead one to hell. These hellish planets are not eternal, but they are places of correction, reformation. And the lessons there are very stern lessons, very hard lessons, very harsh, like that, to help one realign their vision so they can correct their attitude, correct their outlook of life. For one who wants to avoid this type of shock treatment, the scriptures act as a guidebook for gradual, purification and ultimate perfection. So when we do that, what happens is these scriptures will recommend a regulated lifestyle. And then one can easily do three things: transform selfishness into selflessness, transform lust into love, and then transform quarreling into cooperation. So these three. The divine like to cooperate, the divine will love, and the divine will be selfless. So this is Krishna actually advising us how we can actually act. He says, he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor supreme destination. So this is clearly Krishna's instruction to us. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of scripture. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that one may gradually be elevated. Krishna knows it's going to be a gradual process. He's okay. He's very, very patient person. He will allow us to rise in this way. So this is actually Krishna being very kind to us to point out to us what it is in our life that we should do and what we should not do. What are the type of qualities we should have and what are the qualities we should not have. How we should actually become very clear in our lives that we are going to be very determined. We will actually do things like we said earlier in a way that will actually allow us to transform from the demonic nature that we have. By the way, in Kali Yuga, it is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, not here. It does say that in Bhagavad Gita in a different way, but in Bhagavatam it clearly says that everybody who's born in Kali Yuga is born all bad. How do you like that? That's right there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam never tells anything that is not true. So we can understand that we must have some qualities that are not so good for us. And so remember the three things we spoke about earlier, and that is having strong willpower, not be weak, willpower. Now, how can you have willpower? If I don't have my own willpower, I can actually attach myself to somebody who has willpower. See? Because some of us are born with very strong willpower. Why? Because in our previous lives, we've been trying this and attempting this, and it wasn't working so well. But because we were trying, Krishna gave us the opportunity in the next life to have that strong willpower. So it's from the past that willpower is also coming. So some of us don't have it. Don't worry about it. The idea is attached with people who have very strong willpower. You see? And then the second thing we said was determination. Again, sometimes we don't have the determination. Again, attached to people who have strong determination. Dhrida vrataha, they say. Dhrida vrata. Dhrida means very strong. Vrata means determination. Like that, almost like a vrata sometimes is also described as a promise to do something. Take a vow like that. That's called vrata. Dhrida vrata. Satatam kirtayantumam yatantascha dhrida vrata. We must try with great determination, Krishna is saying. And finally, our activities. At least at the activity side, every one of us is engaging in activities anyway. So why not dedicate our activities to Krishna? Dedicate the activities to Krishna. Always be mindful of Krishna. So that we are actually always be conscious of Krishna. Even our intelligence always attached, not just the mind, the intelligence, the consciousness, everything, the ego. Connect them to Krishna. And make a conscious effort to always do that. So if we do these three things, then this will, Krishna says, significantly alter our nature. It'll turn us around very strongly. By our own self, we can turn around by this method. So this is the message of chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm going to stop here. There were some questions from the past that we'd also like to answer. And if you'd like to ask anything or say anything this time, please do so. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the class. Let me see if I can pull up the questions from yesterday.
Yes.
There was a question from a phone number. I don't see. Okay, Neeraj Prabhu. The question was, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Is past life regression real? If yes, then it's such a nice rebuttal for people who think they are no more than a bag of chemicals. Neeraj Prabhu.
Okay, so I didn't quite get it, but you're saying is from regression analysis, we can see that past life is real, right?
Mhm.
Past life is real. What is the conclusion he's drawing now? Therefore,
If yes, then it's such a nice rebuttal
rebuttal.
for people who think they are no more than a bag of chemicals.
Oh yeah, very true. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's very true. Because if you're a bag of chemicals, then how you can say that there was a past life that you had? Because chemicals don't have a past life. They don't even have life. You know,
Yeah.
By coming together, they're saying sometimes reaction takes place. That reaction is what life is all about. But actually, right, it's not true at all. And regression analysis is very good, by the way. Sometimes people ask me, should I go and get my regression, but not my own regression analysis, And I tell them it's nothing wrong. You can go and find out what you were in your previous life, this, that, and the other. But the point is, you don't need to do that because it wasn't just one life that you lived in the past. You lived millions and billions of lives. So it's like a little like, imagine that every life was like 1 second in your life, right? And in this life, every 1 second is like whole number of lives you live, just like how many seconds you have in this life. Then in a particular second, if you look at that particular second, you really can't say that's you. Because you may have behaved better than you normally are, or you might have behaved worse than you normally are. Chances are you didn't behave exactly as you really are at that moment, you see that thing. So really looking back and then judging yourself based on that is not a good idea. But people like to do that because it's interesting, to see in their previous life what they did. And at least that they understand I had a previous life. Like that, we're also going to have many future lives. We don't arrest the system by actually turning towards Krishna and saying, moving towards liberation, and then turning to Krishna fully and saying that really I want to come to that place like Bhoma Vrindavan. Bhoma Vrindavan is firstly Vrindavan, Goloka, which is Vrindavan in the spiritual sky. At least I can come to Bhoma Vrindavan, wherever you're performing your pastimes, and they get trained up very nicely. And also go to the place where Lord Chaitanya is performing his pastimes and get very trained up very nicely. Because Lord Chaitanya's training is also very, very amazing. It's very beautiful training. In fact, Radharani thinks Lord Chaitanya's training is even more powerful. So we should always aspire to go to both these places, like that. Love in union and love in separation, both. We can have the best of both worlds like that. And serve with a lot of love and affection in our hearts like that. Very good point. And then the next question was, Prabhuji?
Next question is from, one second, Prabhuji. Nancy Mataji.
Okay, nice.
And the question is, since the soul comes from the spiritual world, is it conditioned to that life there? Because of this conditioning, we are here innocent. Hare Krishna.
Very good point. Nice observation. But no, we're not conditioned because of our stay in Golok Vrindavan. We're not conditioned. Basically, Golok Vrindavan doesn't condition anybody. The reason it doesn't condition is because it is based on love. So the moment there is a condition, then there's no love. The condition becomes the main aspect. You see what I'm saying? Like, give you an example. Say, for example, a boy falls in love with a girl because she's beautiful, right? Then the love is a conditional love, you see. It's because you're beautiful, I fell in love with you. If you were not beautiful, I would not have fallen in love with you. So the condition becomes the purpose of what is called the love, and therefore it is not love, it is lust. So in Golok Vrindavan, there is no conditioning going on. There's pure love, no conditioning. You see what I'm saying? The soul is not being trained to love more and love more and love more. Here we get trained in bad ways and good ways and everything else. But there's no training like that that's happening. Why? Because the soul is fully resplendent with pure love for Krishna. And it is just expressing more and more love and expressing more and more love all the time. So there is no conditioning that comes to the soul from Golok Vrindavan. But the soul does have memory of its loving relationship with Krishna. But because the soul is asleep right now, it is lying dormant in our body. Therefore, what is happening is that it is not enjoying and relishing the pastimes of Krishna. But when it's awakened by, someone knocking and saying, hey, this is Krishna. Remember Krishna? He's the greatest, he's the sweetest. Like that story is about the katha. So as we hear the katha, our memory comes back to us. Because right now we are a little like, when a person loses their memory, what is the English word they use for that? One has a nice English word for it that's skipping my mind right now. Anyway, so what happens is later on, something happened and we're able to remember again very nicely. So this loss of memory is what is causing all the issues right now. So to remind ourselves to revive this memory again, we do Krishna Katha, we do chanting of the holy names of God, we talk about Krishna, we remember Krishna, we glorify Krishna. Now, the next question was the innocence. The innocence. So innocence means that I understand that I am the servant of Krishna, I am the child of Krishna, Krishna loves me very much, and therefore, all I need to do is to have honest, pure love for Krishna, which is founded on being a simple person. Now, where do you see this example? The example is seen in a young child, in the young child's relationship with the mother or the father, like that. The child is very innocent, So, although it wants its food and wants to play, this, that, and the other, if the parent says something, the child will repeat it. Imagine that, say, for example, the parent really loves, say, for example, eating pizza. So the parent will say, pizza is nice. And the child will say, pizza is nice. This is innocence. You see, the child does not have any politics in its heart. It's got no, complications in its feeling. It's very simply loves the parents, simply loves the things that are happening, knows what pleases it, knows what things don't please it. If you do something to the child that it doesn't like, immediately you can see on their face, child is not happy. Child won't put up a happy face being unhappy. We will do that. We will put up a happy face even though we're not happy. We'll put up an unhappy face even though we're happy. Now that doesn't happen often, but smart people know how to do that because they want to train others. I remember my spiritual master was very much like that. There are times he'd be very happy with what I did, but he would chastise me like anything. Then he'll tell his godbrother, see how I was able to chastise him, although he was happy with what I did. But he just wants to train me up like that. I can remember some very nice instances where I actually did the right thing and I got the sauce. It's called the sauce in Hare Krishna. They call it the sauce. When the spiritual master gives you a tongue lashing, like that. There's some really words that are not easy to hear from him, like that. It's called the sauce. But at times he would give the sauce when I did the right thing. Why? To train me, give some training, so that the ego wouldn't get into it, or he did the right thing, So like that. But this is, we can do that as adults. Simple heart. Now, of course, the spiritual master is simple-hearted. He's doing that for training purposes. Point is that we have to be simple-hearted like that, and that's where the innocence comes in. We have to just study around us how people who are innocent act, right? It's said, for example, an innocent person can take to Krishna consciousness very easily. You see? But a person who's not so innocent takes them longer. And therefore, the Madhyam Adhikari, the Kanishtadikari, Madhyamadikari, Uttamadikari. The Madhyamadikari looks for the innocent people because they know the innocent-hearted will accept the truth quickly. The not so innocent-hearted will not accept the truth. They are too strong in ego, and they will argue against it because it didn't come from them. You see what I mean? I didn't say it, so it can't be true. Like that. So, but innocence is again from the spiritual world. There is innocence. There's no doubt about it. But it's of the soul, not of the mind, of the intelligence, and of the senses and the false ego. These are the ones that need to start practicing the innocence. You see, that would be the innocence that we're talking about, because the soul is dormant. So its innocence is not going to matter because it's not even awake yet. But the senses are very much awake. The mind is very much awake. The intelligence is very much awake, and the false ego is the most wide awake. These guys need to practice some innocence. And that innocence comes when you have a school of hard knocks, you know. You really get dashed up nicely, then you realize I better be humble a little. Not go around telling me, I know, I'm the boss, I know everything, you know, you all not intelligent, I'm the intelligent one here. No, we can't work like that. So that's where the innocence part comes. So thank you, wonderful question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Vinu Mataji, Hare Krishna all, Divya and Vinu, thank you. Vrinda Mataji has a question. After that, Harit Prabhu.
Vrinda, yes, please.
Go ahead, Mataji. One second, sorry. Let me allow you all to unmute. Okay, now you can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the nice class, Nityananda Prabhu. My question is, so you often talk about integration versus balance, and I always thought that was such a nice explanation, and it's helped me a lot in my Krishna consciousness, but I've, like, in trying to apply that, I've sort of realized, I don't know if this applies to other people, but I know in the world of education, there's literally no end to the work. You know, there's always more to do. It never ends. Especially, we're talking about students and we want to help them, and especially like those students who come from difficult situations. So I'm trying to integrate Krishna consciousness into my work, but then at a certain point, like, how do we cut it off? And because sometimes we need to focus on exclusive Krishna conscious activities. Does that sort of make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Because a lot of people have this challenge in their lives, you know. Even when they're not integrating, they have this challenge in their lives. But when they're integrating, it especially becomes more pronounced, you know, it becomes clearer. And so basically what happens is that when it comes to working in the civil environment, you know, the environment like school and other things, we have to learn to cut off at a certain point when we're home, and we have to look at our social life, our spiritual life, you know, our health, etc. You know, we have to learn how to cut off. And this idea of cutting off is also you can actually integrate the cutoff also. If you integrate the cutoff, then you'll cut off very nicely. And how to integrate the cutoff is to understand that actually Krishna is saying, you did your duty, now leave the result to me, right? So we say to Krishna, look, I really worked very hard during the day, and I was always thinking about all the students and their studies and everything else. But now I really need to focus on you. And all the things that I did, I offered it to you. It wasn't an offering for you. I was doing it while I was thinking about you. And so I integrated it that way. But still, because it's mixed with something material, right? It's a little like when you have kheer, and then the kheer, you throw a few grains of sand in it, it's going to become mixed, right? So material world is like that. Material world is like sand, and spiritual life is like kheer. You can't mix these two together. But you're integrating. So in the integrating, you know, you keep the sand on one side, don't put it right into the kheer. But because it's there, the consciousness gets affected. The consciousness is actually affected negatively by the material work that we do. So basically what we do is at the time of the cutoff, and this is very important for all of us who work or run a business or anything that we do, especially business people, they get really caught up. They can't even give it up in the night. They dream about it at night. So many things happen. So basically, and employees do the same thing many times too. So the idea is that you cut off and you say to Krishna, I am cutting off because that was my duty. I did my duty towards the school, towards the children, and now I'm going to leave the result to you. Because he says that. You do your duty, leave the result to me. So integrate it. And you said, now I'm leaving the result to you, Krishna, because you're so much better. And basically, we don't so much say that to Krishna, we say that to Gaur Nitai. Prabhupada said that the way to live life for the devotee is to go in front of Gaur Nitai and say, my dear sirs, and then say whatever you want to say to them. And let them do things as well for you. Because they can do much bigger than we can do. And they're not worried. You're not using them as servants. They see that because they are parents. They love us. They want to see that the children become very successful. Just like children. They go to school, they study, they don't come back and, take care of the responsibility of life. They say, I did my studies. Now please take care of everything in the sense, take care of my food, take care of my shelter, take care of my school fees so I can go back to school. Who does that? It's the parents who do that. It would be wrong to expect that the child has to also go to work, earn the money, find their food, find the shelter, and also pay their fees, and this, that, and the other. That would be cruel. Gaur Nitai are not cruel. They are called Kevala Ananda Khanda. Kevala Ananda Khanda means they are pure bliss. Gaur Nitai are pure bliss. So go to Gaur Nitai and say, my dear sister, I did this for the children, this, that, and the other. Please, now you please take care of the results. I'm going to cut off here and I'm going to focus exclusively, like you said, on, Radha and Krishna, Gaur Nitai, Jagannath Baldev, Subhadra, Krishna Balaram, like that, Prahlad, Nrsimhadev, whoever. And, Tulsi Maharani, like that. So many wonderful personalities in our system. Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, like that. So many wonderful personalities. I'm going to focus on this side now. And then you cut off. Try to understand. If you cut off, that means you're trusting Gaur Nitai. In the Karmi world, one way they build teamwork is they'll have a person standing, and they'll say, we want you to trust us, just fall back. Falling front is easy because you can, put your hands out, arrest the fall at some stage, but falling backward is not easy to hold yourself, And what they do is they say, please have faith. You please fall back. You'll be fine. The person thinks, no, I won't be fine. No, you will be fine. And then the person falls back. And what happens? There are a few people at the back and they hold the person. And they see, this is teamwork. You can trust. Learn to trust. So we need to learn to trust Gaur Nitai. If we can't trust Gaur Nitai, then where are we in our spiritual lives? We tend to trust material things, but we don't tend to trust Krishna. We don't tend to trust Gaur Nitai. Trust Gaur Nitai. They will take care of things. Because if you don't do that, you don't switch off, it's going to drive you bats. It's going to drive you crazy. You're going to become a person who is going to be very, highly strung, anxious, can't sleep properly at night, can't digest food properly. And, they say coronavirus attacks those type of people faster than anything else. So here's one more reason. I don't want to, it's not going to happen to you. Please, I'm not saying it's going to happen to you or anybody else. Please, no way. I'm praying very hard. It doesn't affect any of us. But the point is, don't put ourselves at risk like that. So this is the way to integrate that part. And then now you have to go back to work the next day, and you feel like, wow, that was so nice. I was focusing on Guru Maharaj. I was focusing on this, that, and the other, and this person, that person, and this, that, and the other. And I was so happy, but now I have to go back to work. What is the second principle of success related to the 5 principles? Do not be resentful. Be unresentful. Don't resent the fact that you're going to go back to work. Why? Think to yourself, every child I'm going to meet there is a favorite to one Krishna. Some Krishna's favorite is that child. That child has a Krishna that is their Krishna. So when you're serving that child, understand you're serving Krishna because Krishna is going to be happy. So there's no resentment. Okay, I have to go to work. I will go to work. I'll be happy. While at work, I'll do my work. When I come back home, I'm not going to bring my work back home and then mess my home life up, my spiritual life up, my health life up, my whatever other things that we have to do outside of the work hours. So this is the way to integrate in that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're a very intelligent devotee, do so many great services. You're such a leader. So I'm very glad that you're able to integrate in your life. And just as we learn the integration, of course, I'm older than you are, much older than you are. You're like my daughter. So, obviously, I have more experience, and you have more experience than I have by the time you come to my age. But, that's why I'm able to share this experience with you and everybody else. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Next is Harit Prabhu. After that, Manish Prabhu. And then we have a question from Preeti Mataji. So Harit Prabhu, you're next. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful class today. Prabhuji, although you have already answered the question which I'm going to ask, but still I go ahead and just share my thoughts.
Okay.
So, Prabhuji, I have in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that the soul goes through a painful process of birth when it takes the material body. And that time when the soul is in the womb of mother, that soul is constantly praying to Lord that, please get me rid of this, and I'll definitely pray to you. And he makes so many promises in the womb of mother. And when it gets out, so I'm not able to convince myself how we forget that true relationship with the Lord.
Because see, when you get out, the pain is stopped. You see what I'm saying? You don't feel the pain anymore. So now you don't feel the pain anymore, and someone is showing you a lot of love. Who's showing you a lot of love? Your mother is showing you so much love. Sometimes father also holds you and nurses you. But the mother, yeah. So in arms, it sort of like rocks you in the arm. But the mother is nursing you, right? She's showing you so much love. So obviously you're going to respond to that love. It's natural. Krishna knows that. He made that system himself. He created that system so that you will fall in love with your mother as a baby. You love her very much because she actually is taking care of you so nicely. She loves you so much. You're going to love her back, obviously. So you're going to forget a little of the pain, and what you were saying during the pain is going to be slowly forgotten. You won't forget it immediately, but gradually you'll forget it. That's why they say from the mouth of a babe, because sometimes the babe remembers, you see, their relationship, and they'll say something that's very profound, and it's really a baby, and you're thinking, wow, how did the baby figure it out? And sometimes the baby has mannerisms that show it's something that happened earlier, and the baby is, suddenly the baby will start laughing, say, for example, right? The baby is sleeping, suddenly starts laughing, oh, something happened from the past. The baby just doesn't laugh for nothing. There's something that happened. And so, yes, but very quickly, in a very short period of time, relatively quickly, we tend to forget that prayer. And then so we forget it so much that whenever a devotee comes to the person and says, oh, do you remember you prayed like that? I never prayed like that. That's just, no, I never did any prayer like that. If I'd done it, I would have kept my word. I know I didn't give that word. So this is what happened. This is called Maya. Maya has two meanings, by the way. One meaning, that which is not. But Maya can also mean amazing material attachment. Very, very powerful material attachment is called Maya. That's why sometimes in Hindi they say Mayalu. A person is Mayalu. Mayalu means very, very endearing type person, And you get caught in that endearment and attached, like tied a knot with another person in sex life like that. That's Mayalu. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Manish Prabhu, you're next. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, like you told us about these three things which we follow, like can alter our nature.
Yes.
So Prabhu, those lust, anger, and greed is still. So how doing chanting also can alter our nature as well?
Yes, yes, yes. Because see, when you are chanting, what is happening is you are taking the name of the Lord. It is not different from the Lord. You are associating with the Lord.